Hey guys, this is your boy Kensworth Morris. I migrated to Canada 4 years ago as an international student, and today I am a permanent resident. Now, many people have asked me what is an easy way to come to Canada. So I decided to do this video to look at some easy ways to come to Canada. Okay, let us look at the 5 easy ways to migrate to Canada. First is the Express Entry Program. The second is Family Class Sponsorship. Third is LMIA Work Visa. The fourth one is the Provincial Nominee Program, or the PNP. And finally, the Canadian Investor Immigration Program. So those are the 5 ways you can immigrate to Canada. Let's look at the first one. So the Express Entry Program is a Canadian immigration program that allows immigrants to live and work in Canada as a skilled worker through the Express Entry Program. The Express Entry Program is a points-based system that selects candidates based on certain criteria like education, language, skilled trades, etc. Now, there are 3 different categories under the Express Entry Program. The first one is the Federal Skilled Worker Program. Then there's the Federal Skilled Trade Program. And finally, the Canadian Experience class. Now I'm going to take a little while and go through these so you can understand the difference between them. The Federal Skilled Worker Program is one where you can apply from anywhere in the world. You don't have to be in Canada to apply for this one. If you have a certain skill, certain profession, uh, say for instance, you are a teacher, you can be an engineer, or you are uh, maybe something in the medical field or something like that. You can apply through this program. They will use a points-based system looking at your educational background, your language proficiency, your international work experience, and stuff like this, and they will give you a certain number of points. Now, if you fall within the points range that they are selecting for that particular time, uh, you will be given an invitation to apply, and then you will be asked to submit all your documents for them to start processing. The only thing with this, you require a certain amount of money that is called your settlement funds for this one. So it varies typically for a family. Maybe a family of 3, you probably need like 20 something $1,000. So yeah, that's kind of a drawback for some people, but some people can afford it. All right. The next one is a federal skilled trade program. This one is specifically for people who are skilled in trades like plumbing, construction, engineer, electrician, and stuff like that. So these people can apply also from outside of the country, and sometimes Canada needs to fill certain vacancies in certain skilled areas, and so they may draw on their these people in the pool and select them. Sometimes even if you don't have very good high score in other areas like language proficiency and other educational qualifications and stuff, just by being a skilled tradesperson in a particular area that they want, you may end up being selected. And thirdly, the Canadian Experience class. This one is usually for people who are already in Canada and have gained experience through working, like maybe work for a year and gather a certain amount of work experience in a skilled occupation. Now we have what is called the NOC code, the NOC code, or it means National Occupation Classification. And based on that, if your job falls in that in a particular NOC code, then you may be selected after completing a certain number of hours of work, right? And they also look at your educational achievements, they look at your language proficiency and stuff like that, and you may be selected for that. And also in the express entry, the provinces and territories use this, in order to recruit suitable candidates for their provinces. So that's it for the express entry program. The next class is a family class sponsorship. And Canada is a family country, I'm told all the time. They support family. And so families in Canada can sponsor their relatives to come to Canada on a permanent basis. Usually, the sponsor has to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, right? And they can only sponsor their spouse and children under the age of 22. They can also sponsor their parents and their grandparents under what is called the super visa category. A lot of people get married and they sponsor their spouses here, so that's one way. There is a LMIA work visa, and for this one, it usually requires the individual to apply to a Canadian employer and get a job offer, and then apply for a work visa, right? And then on that basis, they can immigrate to Canada. But usually, they have to get the job offer first, and then the employer has to apply through the Service Canada for the LMIA. And after that is approved, which sometimes take a little while, the applicant can apply for his or her work permit, right, on the basis of that approved LMIA. Then there is a provincial nominee program, or PNP. Uh, so provinces such as Alberta, Ontario, British Columbia, and other provinces, they have developed their own immigration programs that often leads to a fast track process. So it's different for each province. They may want to satisfy certain jobs that are short, certain professions that are short, or different reason, and so each of them has a different goal, and they're not the same. So that's one way you can become permanent resident through that selection. The applicants usually have to reside in the respective province that they arrive in Canada, and most of the PNP requires that you already get a job offer from an employer in Canada. Then the final one is a Canadian investor immigration program. For this one, usually the candidates has to have high network and have own or manage businesses overseas. They are contributing to Canada's overall growth and prosperity, right, by providing jobs and services and goods. So that's why the government, giving them permanent residence. And there are two different types of this program. There's a federal investor program and the Quebec program. And so usually the applicants have to make a large investment in an approved investment fund for a 5-year period. So what about the international student category? Like, I came here as an international student. Well, the international student category is not a standalone category. You don't just get permanent residence because you are a student, an international student. But it is a pathway to the express entry and to the PNP. So it's easier for you to get into the PNP or the express entry, because you would have been in the country studying for some number of years, you would have been working for some number of time, and you would have acquired certain amount of Canadian experience. You would have contributed to the economy in more than one ways, and you're already settled basically. So it's easier for you to transition. And so this is, you usually get permanent resident relatively easier. Just a tip here for people who intend to study. It is better to do a 2-year program than a 1-year program, because after completing a 2-year program, you usually get a 3-year postgraduate work permit. So you can work up to 3 years after your graduation. During that time, you're able to apply for your permanent residence. Usually, you have enough time, versus if you do a 1-year program, you will only get 1-year work permit after you finish, and then time might run out and you didn't fully get through with your permanent residence. So I advise you to do 2 years of study if you choose to study here. And so, yes, basically that's it. I can give you more information. You can reach out to me at my website there, www.kensworthalive.com. Yeah, so if you like this video, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, you know. And yeah, I will do more videos like this so you guys can learn. Thanks a lot there. Enjoy.